Hello, this is Ms. DB. In this video, we are going to do the second part of this worksheet on solving for a variable and using formulas. So make sure that you've watched the other video where I show how to solve formulas for variables. I do a lot of these problems in the other video. All right, the part we're going to work on in this one is using formulas to solve problems. So here are the formulas that were given in your textbook for a rectangle and a square to find both the perimeter and the area of them. So in a rectangle, we have a length and a width. Let me draw a rectangle here. And it doesn't matter which one you call the length and which one you call the width. Sometimes you'll see these called base and height too. So I'll call this the length and this the width. To find the area of a rectangle, you take the length times the width. So you multiply them. To find the perimeter, you can either add the length plus the length plus the width, or you can use the formula 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. For a square, you could use the same exact formulas as for a rectangle, but a square has all the sides the same side, so we'll call that S. To find the area of a square, you just multiply a side by itself, because that's really length times width, but they're both S, so the area would equal the side squared to the power of 2. And to find the perimeter, you would just add up all 4 of those sides, but you could also use the formula perimeter is equal to 4 times S. So you're going to use those formulas to solve 16, 17, 18, and 19. Number 20 is optional. It says to solve the formula for area of a square for side for S. And then you would answer the rest of the questions. Let's look at, these aren't difficult questions, but let's just look at number 17. It says to find, you have a rectangle with a length of 5. I'll write that on here. And a width of 3. You may also want to draw a picture to help you solve these. The perimeter, so I look back at my table and it says that the perimeter of a rectangle is 2 times length plus 2 times width. So I replace L with 5, that means 2 times 5, and I replace W with 3. And then I use my order of operations, which says I should multiply next. So 2 times 5 is 10, 2 times 3 is 6, and then I would add these together and get 16. Because we're working with a real-world problem, we should label our answer. Perimeter would be just inches, not inches squared, just inches. To find the area for number 17, let me move this down a little bit. To find the area, we would use the formula that says it is equal to the length times the width. So we replace L again with 5 and width W with 3, and we multiply and we would get 15. And area, the units for area, you put whatever the measurement is, and then you would put a little 2 on it. That means squared. Or you could write 15 square inches. That's another way of writing this. You can also abbreviate inches as IN if you want. Then there is another section here that you are going to complete using another formula. This is the formula for distance. Distance is equal to rate times time. Rate is the speed or the velocity of an object, and time is time. So let's see if we can figure out number 20. 4 hours, that's time. At a rate, that's our R. So you're going to use the formula distance equals rate times time. So you replace R with the rate, so that's 33. And you replace time with 4, and this is multiplied, and you will get your distance. In number 21 is the same thing. Now in 22 through the next ones, you're going to use the same formula, distance equals rate times time. But in 22, they tell us to solve that for rate. Now that's very similar to the questions you did at the beginning of the worksheet. If we have to solve distance for rate, you have to first identify where is the variable. It's right here. What's happening to the variable that's keeping it from being by itself? It's being multiplied by t. When you write two letters next to each other, that means multiplication. The opposite of multiplying by t is to divide by t. So you need to divide both sides of the equation by t. When you divide by t, get a pen here, the t's cancel over here because t over t is 1. So you're just left with r for rate, which is what we wanted. So r is equal to distance divided by time. If you're typing this, you would type d equals, oh, not d, sorry. You could either type d over t equals r, or you could type r equals d over t if you prefer it to be with the variable you solve for on the left side like that. And that's all you do for 22. Now in 23, you're going to do almost the same thing, except this time you're going to solve for time, for t. So this time you want to divide both sides by r so that you can get t by itself. So I'll let you do that one. And then let's look at, in these problems, you're going to use your new formulas that you write for 22 and 23. Let's look at number 22. Oh, let's do 24 because it's on the same page, so it's a little easier to look at what we're looking at. All right, so on 22 it says a car traveled 600 miles in 12 hours. What was the speed or rate of the car? So we're looking for r, and that's what we just solved for in 22. So we know this is our distance, 600 miles. We know this is our time, 12 hours, and we're going to use our new formula, which says r equals d over t, and we'll plug in what we know is true for d, that's 600 miles, and our time is 12, and then you use your calculator and you figure out what is 600 divided by 12. Divided by 12 is 50. So r is equal to 50, and then let's see, this is miles per hour, so you can write mph is the way we usually write that. The rate is miles per hour. So you used your new formula to solve. And in 24, they're looking for the time, so you'll use your formula from number 23 after you redo that one. In 25, they're looking for the rate. In 26, they're looking for the time. So make sure you pick the correct formula, and then you will use the given information and solve for the unknown variable. If you have any questions, please let me know. Have a great day.